Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Telecast TV. I'm Miracle Angala. You are about to watch a video. Be sure to check it out and endeavor to watch to the end. Please don't forget to hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, comment and share your thoughts so you don't miss my trending video.
Well, good morning to you viewers. Let's begin what's trending in Benue State, where the state's emergency management agency has responded to protests staged by communities in the state's internally displaced persons camps over hunger and deplorable living conditions. SEMA claims the protests were politically instigated. The demonstrators occurred just hours after the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, announced a 1 billion naira donation and relief materials for the state. The donation made through her Renewed Hope initiative was intended to assist families affected by recent attacks, particularly one in the Yelwata community that claimed over 100 lives. However, IDPs at camps like International Market in Makurdi report that relief materials, including those from generous individuals and organizations, are being diverted by camp officials, forcing them to starve. They also highlighted issues such as inadequate shelter, lack of medical care, and poor sanitation. Let's take a look. All right, this came just hours after the First Lady donated that 1 billion naira. But you know, an official at the Benue State Emergency Management Agency, Tema Aga, insists that the IDPs are not being starved and that the government is providing food. He also stated that IDPs from Yelwata often migrate to the International Market camps in Makurdi because it is a newer camp that attracts more aid. Aga insisted that the protests are politically motivated and that the 1 billion naira donation by the First Lady is intended for resettlement, not for immediate food aid, which is quite strange to hear because, I don't know what resettlement means. I'm sure that that also includes food aids. But the complaints are the fact that there are some camp officials that are diverting the food. And I think that their protest is quite legitimate because if they see that the First Lady has come into the state, they'll raise alarm right at the point. But meanwhile, the Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Aliyah, has also reacted to the protest, stating that he would ensure the 1 billion naira donated by the First Lady of Nigeria will be distributed appropriately.
My attention was called to the unfortunate protests by some members of the IDPs at the meghan camp over their welfare. And this is why we could not wait for even 24 hours to click before we set up the machinery to ensure that the donation of the First Lady went to the appropriate channel to the IDPs. It is not just for the IDPs at the international market. It is for all the IDPs in the state, and they have to be reassured that what is theirs must go to them.
All right. I applaud the governor here because obviously we were quite worried when we saw that protest, and his assurance here is quite reassuring. Vimbai.
It certainly is, because this is a crisis that, that occurred at his doorstep.
Yes.
And he has been consistent throughout this process. But let me begin with the authenticity of the protesters.
Yes.
I think we've now kind of gotten used to knowing which protests look authentic and which look stage managed. These people, you can see from the look of them, I think this looks very authentic. They ran, they blocked the highway. They're still carrying their leaves and their trees. You say they come in peace, but you can see that these people are in distress. Now, we often talk about the humanity humanitarian crisis, the IDP camps, because these are people who get forgotten. After the headlines after we move past the headlines, after we move past the casualty numbers and so forth, we forget that there are people who have left their homes, who have been displaced from their homes, not out of their own volition, but because of the security situation. And because a lot of that, if you remember the images from that attack, a lot of their homes were razed down. They couldn't go back to them, so they need to be reconstructed. Now, in the process of resettlement, which we don't know how long that will take, it's so important to just ensure that whether it be the camp officials or whoever is responsible, ensure that every single kobo is accounted for. Let these people be fed. I mean, what their only crime is that they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is their homes. That's their only crime. We have a civic duty, and I know that there's several NGOs as well who have been involved in making various donations and ensuring that the relatives and the community members who are displaced can just have a dignified life while they wait for their homes to be rebuilt. So I'm glad that they've protested. Now some succor has come from the First Lady, and the governor has spoken. Let him follow that charge and ensure that every single part of the value chain, whether it be from the feeding to even their medical care and so forth, let's make sure that all of their needs are met.
Well said, Vimbai. Good comment.
Okay, what is the basic foundational issue here? Before we talk about the atmospherics. It is simply that nobody should be internally displaced in the country.
Correct.
No Nigerian should be a refugee in his own country. And that is why, again, this particular incident reconfirms the point we have always made that, look, people should enjoy their rights as citizens. The Constitution of Nigeria guarantees the right to the dignity of the human person. When people are killed overnight, when communities are sacked, it is their right to dignity that is violated. That's number one. Number two, each time Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the First Lady, donates anything in any part of the country, we always make the point that it's important that the resources are properly managed and monitored.
Transparently.
Accountability is very important because she's been to many states to provide their support. So there's that issue about accountability. Three, people who are in distress, including ordinary people who are in IDPs, they have expectations. This incident occurred, this protest occurred in Benue, less than 24 hours after Mrs. Tinubu visited, and they heard that she donated 1 billion. Now, typical, human behavior. They said, well, where is our money? The average Nigerian has this mentality. Once they hear money, they say it's our money. Because of this distrust between government officials and the people. And the easiest argument that they can put up is to say, oh, state officials are diverting what is meant for us. What do they want? They want the money to be put in envelopes and given to them, which is why the clarification by the information officer from the Benue State Emergency Agency is very important. He said, look, these people, they are fed every day. In fact, even as they are protesting, food has been provided for them. And in fact, they are so well fed that some of them go from their camp to another camp, a nearby camp. They will eat here, they will eat in the other camp. But you see, that's typical, behavior on the part of people who are distressed. But the assurance by the governor that, everything will be done to make sure that they are in very good condition is very important. However, I return to the original point. Nobody should be subjected to any form of distress or displacement or refugee condition inside Nigeria. That should be the ultimate objective of government, either at the federal level or at the state level.
Well said, Dr. Abati.